I wanted to bring in our good friend, former governor of Arkansas and 2016 presidential candidate Mike Huckabee. Good evening, Governor. Thank you for being patient as we listen to Mr. Trump.
Happy to be here, Cheryl. Thank you very much.
He did it again. He did it again, Governor. He went after the establishment. This is the rallying cry of the Trump campaign. Is he going to have success swaying the establishment that they need to rethink this contested convention that may indeed happen?
Well, the reason they need to rethink it is not just because he's exposed them, but they need to rethink it because if, in fact, all these people across the country who have gone out there and campaigned, went to the polls, stood in line to vote and voted, and then some party bosses up in their vote and take it away from them, there's going to be an implosion in the GOP. It'll be disastrous. And I don't think all the king's horses and all the king's men can put it back together again. It'll be like Humpty Dumpty, splattered all over the Cleveland streets. So it's important to realize that a lot of people have a vested interest in this election, but they want it to be an election, not a selection of party bosses.
Well, he brought up the loss, Governor, in Colorado, and that's when he really kind of started to say the system is rigged. I want to play that bite for our viewers.
Our Republican system is absolutely rigged. It's a phony deal. Now, what do I know? I started running like 9 months ago. Who would have thought I would have been in first place? What do I know? Right? What do I know? But I'm in first place by a lot.
Does he have a point?
Well, he does. The people of Colorado didn't get to vote. This was done, in essence, in the proverbial smoke-filled room. And given Colorado's recent legislation on marijuana, we might now know what they were smoking in that smoke-filled room. I just feel like, Cheryl, the disconnect between the people who are trying to keep Donald Trump from being the nominee and the people who went out there and voted. And if the party leaders, they may not like it, but we have elections so that people can choose. And I hear some of the party people saying, no, the party makes the choice. Technically, that's correct. But the party has chosen to make that choice through elections and through caucuses. And if they throw all of that out and say, well, yeah, we know how you voted, we see where the votes are, but it's not where we want them to be, so we're going to manipulate the rules so that our guy wins and Donald Trump doesn't.
They're still doing that.
And I'm not sure who their guy is.
Governor, they're still doing that to this day. There's been so much backlash against the establishment for wanting, basically their guy, Ted Cruz. It was Rubio, now it's Ted Cruz. Aren't they ashamed of themselves at this point?
Obviously not. Obviously, Cheryl, they're not, and that's part of the problem. There is no shame. And the reason that the party is in such disarray, the reason that Donald Trump was able to beat the rest of us was because they had no shame, and he had no hesitancy to go after them and got so much attention with it. But let me be very clear. If Ted Cruz thinks he really is the darling of the establishment, and maybe he is right now, but if he really believes that all those folks in Washington who never have liked him suddenly have started loving him, I think he may be very disappointed. He gets to the convention, and all those delegates, there'll be some who will stick with him because they're Cruz delegates, but there'll be others who will say, nope, don't want either one of those guys, and then I think it becomes a free-for-all. And I told Sean Hannity last week, I felt like that what you're going to see is the equivalent of a political mushroom cloud coming out of Cleveland if the whole thing breaks up like that.
Well, there's something else that he said that I want to play for you, sir. And he basically was expanding on the fact that votes should be taken away. Listen.
Their votes have been taken away. We've already been disenfranchised because you look at what's going on. Because if you think about it, the economy is rigged. The banking system is rigged. There's a lot of things that are rigged in this world of ours.
And then he went on to say, this is why I'm funding my own campaign, because if I take $1 million from XYZ guy, I'm beholden to him. This is what seems to be resonating with Trump supporters.
Absolutely, Cheryl. I think it's one of the strongest things Donald Trump has had in his entire repertoire throughout the campaign is that he is not beholden to the donor class. And quite frankly, that's a powerful message, and it's an important message because the donor class has absolutely dictated what the political class has done, and they've done it at the expense of the working class. And people out there in America who can barely pay their mortgages, if they aren't one of the 5 million that had a foreclosure, they know full well the gut punch they felt from the policies that were supposed to be so good for them. Well, orthodox conservatism shouldn't be hurting working people, and that's what's happened over the last several years, and they're sick of it.